Joe Giudice admitted that the Real Housewives of New Jersey was the reason for his divorce from his ex-wife Teresa Giudice. After the two were arrested for fraud and served some jail time, Joe was deported back to Italy and the couple filed for divorce. Since being deported, though, Joe has left Italy and now lives in the Bahamas, and Teresa has moved on and married Louis Ruelas. Teresa met Louis in the summer of 2020, shortly before she announced she and Joe were getting a divorce. The RHONJ star has said many times that she believes Louis came into her life at the perfect time following a series of unfortunate events. First, Teresa and Joe did prison time, plus she lost both her parents just a few years apart. Teresa was trying to heal, and then she met Louis. She was head over heels in love with him, and the two got married 2 years later. Teresa and Louis have created an amazing life, but her ex Joe does have some regrets. Joe Giudice believes RHONJ caused their divorce. They got caught up in the fraud. Joe appeared on the Behind the Velvet Rope with David Yontef podcast in June 2023. Joe shared that he believes he and Teresa would still be married if it wasn't for everything that transpired on RHONJ. "I mean, we had 4 kids," Joe explained, adding, "Obviously, the separation is what caused the divorce and everything, because what am I supposed to do?" He believes everything being exposed in their lives on RHONJ led them to get caught up in the fraud and eventually get caught. Joe living in Italy at the time and Teresa being in the United States was also a sign their relationship wouldn't work out. Even though they are no longer married, Joe, who now lives in the Bahamas, is happy Teresa moved on and is glad he still has a great relationship with his 4 daughters. RHONJ says Teresa's husband Louis is a nice guy. Louis asked Joe for his blessing. Despite all the drama that has taken place, which is commonplace on any Real Housewives show, Joe does seem to like Teresa's new husband, as he noted, "He really seems like a nice guy. I mean, he's been nice to me. He's called me, he's been a man." Joe even shared that Louis even asked him for his blessing to marry Teresa, which is a very kind thing for someone to do. As far as Real Housewives divorces have gone, despite the arrests and illegal activity, this one has been pretty tame. Even though Joe and Teresa have had their fair share of drama over the years, it is good to see them in a healthy place. While it is clear that Joe is still dwelling on how everything was uncovered and how it all played out, he does seem to be in a good place. While Teresa has had some ups and downs, she also seems to be very happy now. They had their money issues, but it sometimes seemed like they had other issues as well, like Teresa accusing Joe of cheating on her, which also could have ultimately led to their divorce. Where do Teresa and Joe stand in 2024? Teresa and Joe have a great post-divorce relationship. Despite the ups and downs in their marriage, and Joe putting them both in jail, Teresa and Joe have a fantastic relationship post-divorce. From the start of their divorce, Teresa wanted to make sure her daughters and Joe would have a relationship, and she did just that. Not only have they all gone as a family, including Louis, to visit Joe in the Bahamas, but they even spent the holidays together. When he set it up, the dinner with my ex, he DM'd him and I didn't even know about it, Teresa said Louis told her. She continued, "We were going to the Bahamas to pick up my youngest, and he DM'd him." In December 2023, Teresa, Louis, and her daughters reunited with Joe for a holiday dinner. Also around for the celebration were Teresa's RHONJ castmate Jennifer Aydin and her husband Bill Aydin, via People. This was something Teresa not only wanted for her family, but so did Louis. Teresa also revealed in a podcast episode of Wind Down over 2 years ago that Louis made a huge effort to meet Joe so Teresa's 4 daughters and Joe can feel comfortable around him. Teresa believes she found a real gem in Louis. In spite of the cheating allegations, as well as Joe and Teresa having a go at each other sometimes in the press, It shows that time can really help heal wounds. It also seems like everyone is better for it, even Joe, who is living in the Bahamas now. He would surely like to see his kids more often since they all still live in the United States. Going forward, RHONJ will likely continue to cover Teresa's life and how Joe will continue to be a part of her new family with Louis. For years, Joe and Teresa Giudice were synonymous with the Real Housewives of New Jersey, a couple whose roller coaster love story unfolded in front of millions. From their early days of luxury and lavish parties to courtrooms, prison terms, and eventually a painful separation, their relationship was a central pillar of RHONJ's dramatic core. But what exactly broke them? What led to the dissolution of a decades-long marriage that had weathered some of reality TV's most turbulent storms? And where do the once unbreakable couple stand today? Here's the full emotional story behind Joe and Teresa Giudice's divorce, the forces that ultimately drove them apart, and the surprising way they've managed to rebuild mutual respect, even from across the ocean. A fairy tale turned tragedy. Joe and Teresa Giudice married in 1999, long before Bravo cameras entered their lives. They built a family together, 4 daughters, Gia, Gabriella, Melania, and Adriana, and a lifestyle that, for a time, seemed straight out of a reality show fantasy. But when RHONJ premiered in 2009, that fantasy began to show cracks. From the outside, they were glamorous. Inside their ornate Montville mansion, however, pressure was mounting. Financial missteps, legal issues, and a volatile dynamic slowly began to erode the foundation of their marriage. In 2013, the first major fracture hit. Both Teresa and Joe were indicted on federal fraud charges. The couple was accused of bankruptcy fraud, mail fraud, and wire fraud, charges that would eventually lead to both serving time in federal prison. Time apart, prison changed everything. In 2015, Teresa served 11 months in prison, followed by Joe's 41-month sentence, which began in 2016. The decision to serve back-to-back was made to allow one parent to remain home with their daughters. Teresa's prison stint was transformative. She emerged calmer, more reflective, and determined to protect her daughters and reclaim her identity. Joe, meanwhile, spent his sentence under increasing scrutiny, not just from the government but from the public. When Joe was released from prison in 2019, he was immediately placed into ICE custody due to his immigration status. Despite living in the U.S. since he was a toddler, he had never become an American citizen. After a lengthy legal battle, Joe was deported to Italy, leaving behind his family, his home, and the life he knew. That separation became the final wedge between him and Teresa. The long goodbye, divorce, distance, and difficult choices. For months after Joe's deportation, both he and Teresa insisted they were still trying to make their relationship work. The family visited him in Italy. Cameras captured their long-distance conversations, but something had shifted. The physical separation made emotional distance inevitable. The couple had grown into 2 different people, shaped by trauma, prison, and the immense weight of public life. During the RHONJ Season 10 reunion, Teresa made it clear, "We're both living separate lives." In December 2019, the couple officially separated. Less than a year later, in 2020, they finalized their divorce after 20 years of marriage. It wasn't a dramatic explosion. It wasn't scandalous. It was heartbreakingly mutual. As Teresa later said in interviews, "We had been through too much and we just grew apart." Infidelity rumors and emotional abuse accusations. While the divorce was amicable on paper, fans never forgot the years of tension on screen. There were accusations of infidelity on both sides. Viewers witnessed Joe speak disrespectfully to Teresa during filming. He was caught on camera referring to her with a derogatory term during a Season 4 trip to Napa, fueling fan speculation about emotional abuse. Teresa stood by him then, but many believe the seeds of discontent were planted there. In her post-prison memoir, Turning the Tables, Teresa opened up about the strain Joe's choices had placed on her family. She admitted she had held onto resentment over going to jail and missing her mother's final days, something she couldn't easily forgive. Still, neither Joe nor Teresa has outright blamed the other in public. Instead, their narrative has been one of painful acceptance. Where they stand today: peace, distance, and co-parenting. Today, Joe lives in the Bahamas after relocating from Italy in 2021 to be closer to his daughters. He runs a fish import/export business and frequently posts updates on Instagram. Though miles away, Joe remains an active and loving father, especially toward his eldest daughter, Gia, who has spoken publicly in support of him. Teresa, meanwhile, has moved on, both emotionally and romantically. In 2022, she married businessman Louis Ruelas in a lavish Bravo televised ceremony. While some fans questioned how quickly she embraced a new love, Teresa has said she never imagined falling in love again, but Louis helped her heal. Despite past animosities, Joe was surprisingly supportive of Teresa's new relationship. "If she's happy, I'm happy," he told reporters. "She deserves it." The two no longer speak often, but when they do, it's strictly about their daughters. In interviews, they've both emphasized that their only priority is co-parenting peacefully. "It didn't work out between us," Joe told Us Weekly, "but we're always going to be family." Their split wasn't the result of one incident, one affair, or one screaming match. It was the culmination of years of strain, legal disasters, and personal evolution. Their story is a rare example of a housewives couple that didn't implode with scandal, but instead, slowly, heartbreakingly, outgrew each other. In some ways, that's even more emotional. Joe and Teresa Giudice's relationship was built on love, loyalty, and shared dreams, but also burdened by the weight of public judgment, criminal consequences, and lost time. In the end, they let go, not with anger, but with acceptance. Final thoughts: from chaos to closure. Joe and Teresa's divorce wasn't a fall from grace. It was a gradual, painful reckoning between two people who had been through hell and back, and realized that surviving wasn't the same as thriving. Today, they live in different countries, different lives, different worlds. But they're still tethered by love for their daughters and a shared past that shaped them both. Their journey serves as a powerful reminder: even the most iconic housewives couples aren't immune to reality. And sometimes, the bravest thing two people can do is let go.